So this morning, I want to share some thoughts about some things I've learned over the past year and how it's impacted my life and changed everything for the better. And I truly am blessed to be living here and on this earth and married to an amazing woman and have an amazing career. And I'd like to share with you some of my struggles and what I did to change things. So we've all heard it. If you do the same thing, you get the same results. But how do we apply that to our lives to make our lives better? Well, it comes down to reaching a point in your life where you're just tired of being unhappy. You're tired of the struggle. So if we're going to be here and we're going to be on this earth, we might as well figure out a way to thrive. And it is possible because other people are doing it. And if one person can do it, another person can do it. So you have to break it down. What makes one person thrive and one person struggle? Well, it all comes down to the belief system. What you believe is what will be. And the good news is that you can change it. You can change what you believe about yourself, the world around you, the people around you. Instead of getting upset with people because they don't conform to what you believe is right, maybe they are ignorant and maybe they are rude or whatever the case may be. There's an old saying that applies in that situation, and that is, it takes a bigger person to walk away or to not stoop to their level. And there's some depth to that, and you can reach a point to where you understand that every individual only knows what they know based on what they've been exposed to from a child. And to thrive, unless you happen to come from a family where they have that knowledge and they offer that knowledge to you as a young child between birth and 8 years old, and we sort of have all these things ingrained in our heads that aren't really real. Limitations and limited beliefs. You can never have that which you don't believe you can have. If $1 million is unobtainium, you will never attain it. To me, I'm not a millionaire by any stretch of the imagination, but $1 million is not a lot of money. $2 million is not a lot of money, and $3, $4, $5 million is not a lot of money. $10 million is not a lot of money. To me, a lot of money is, 200 million, something like that. This video is not about money, it's about beliefs. And so the point being is, if you think $1,000 is a lot of money, it's going to be really hard for you to obtain that $1,000. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make when trying to figure out how to earn money or how to get money. That's what people sort of think is, how do I get more money? How do I make more money? And that is the wrong belief about money. The more you think about how can you get more money, and also focusing on the lack of money, which is when you're thinking, how do I get more money? That's kind of what you're doing, is focusing on the lack of money that you have. And whatever you focus on will be. So if you focus on the lack of money, you'll always have a lack of money. So if you want more money, what you need to ask yourself is, how can I add more value? How can I add more value at my job? How can I solve more problems for people in general? If you add more value at your current job will pay you more. And the way it typically works is, if they don't, somebody will come along, see the value that you're adding, and offer you more. We always get what we're worth and not a penny more. Exactly what we're worth and not a penny more. That's the way it works. So if finances are your struggle, look at it from a perspective of how do I add more value? How do I make my company that I work for more money? Because that's how you earn more, by earning the person who you work for more. Because they won't deny you your value, and neither will the universe. Somebody else will come along and snatch you up just like that. So when it comes to finances, ask yourself, how can I add more value at what I'm doing? And if you hate what you're doing, you need to change that as well. I met a guy the other day. He was in the car business, selling cars, which I used to do, which is a great business to be in, with the right attitude, with the right company. But he said that he had been trying to get out of the car business for 15 years. And I asked him, how come he didn't get out of it if he didn't like it? And it was just one thing after another, this, that, this and that, and this and that, and happens. And I asked him a simple question. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, if you can't be, his thing was fitness. I said, if you can't be in fitness because of all these outside things, who's in control of your life? And he sort of scratched his head for a minute and thought about that. And I said, all the things that you have no control over control your life. And all you need to do is come from a perspective of belief and refuse any reality except for the reality that you want. And it's not easy, and that's why most people don't do it. They give up. But you have to refuse. Refuse your reality if you don't like it. Absolutely refuse to do another day of what you're doing if you don't like it. Refuse. And find a way. There's never a reason to keep you from doing what you can't do. Even disabilities, I've seen people overcome extreme disabilities, do what they want to do, and just do it. The pain of what you're doing now is greater than the pain of the success that you'll have if you stick with it and you see it through. These same principles apply to everything in your life that is not yielding you the results that you want. And it all comes down to your belief system and changing that, rewriting the code that has been put in your head by your parents, by society. You do not have to conform to what they do or what they've taught you or what society tells you have to do. The greatest minds in the world are the ones who choose another path. They take another direction, and they change the world, and they create businesses that the rest of the world works at. They solve problems for humanity. They improve lives and make things better. Why? Because they refuse to go to a job that they hate every single day, where they're not challenged, where they're disrespected, where they feel as though they're taken advantage of, which I don't believe in that point of view. Nobody takes advantage of anybody. We enable situations that don't benefit us, and it's our fault. It's not our employer, it's not our spouse, it's not our significant other, because you have two options in any given situation. One is to change the situation, and if you can't change the situation, change your belief about the situation. And all choices are made based on pleasure or pain, and when life gets too painful, you will choose a different path. And the point of this video is really just to help you, if you're in need and you are in a situation of despair, or you feel lost, alone, whatever the case may be, you really aren't alone. We've all been there. Every day I wake up, I have anxiety about my day, but I focus on the adventure. Who am I going to meet? What am I going to learn? What opportunities am I going to manifest that day? So I choose to meet amazing people. I choose to know nothing. I choose to learn rapidly and change daily. A rigid belief system is the fastest way to misery and unhappiness, because when your beliefs are so rigid, the world around you will always be a tough place, because nothing will fit into your little cube of what you think the world should be, and how you think people should treat you, and what you think people owe you, and whatever entitlement you have. You'll never be happy, because that's not the way it works.